So we see what's happened on the court, but I think when you take a peek behind, from what I'm told, there have been developing on-court issues and disconnect within the roster, particularly with Zach Lavine and Demar Derozan. This is something that the Bulls have been managing through various remedy attempts, whether it's team meetings, one-on-ones that have been set up between both Derozan and Lavine. But I'm told right now the Bulls and Lavine just simply are not seeing eye to eye on the situation and the approach to winning. And there are a host of teams right now that are monitoring the situation and waiting and trying to see whether the Bulls ultimately do make Zach Lavine available. And in all this, Billy Donovan, we reported a few weeks ago, he received an extension prior to the start of the season that I reported on, a multi-year deal. So right now his job is safe, but there's been a lot of skepticism from what I'm told within that locker room as far as his ability to really maximize and optimize Derozan, Lavine, Nikola Vucevic. He's got 2 All-Stars, 1 former All-Star in Vucevic. So the talent is there even though they're without Lonzo Ball. So we'll see how they'll be able to work through this.
Before we talk about some teams that are playing well, let's talk about the Bulls. The Bulls gave up 100. Pelton, the Bulls shot 52% on the road tonight in Minnesota. Minnesota was coming back from a long road trip that was not great for them. I saw them on the trip. They looked terrible. They looked like zombies. They were having all kinds of difficulty scoring without Karl Towns. Their point guard position has been a little bit of a mess. With D'Angelo Russell has been banged up, although he came back.
He came back all right.
Yeah. And so you shoot 52% on the road in a team's first game back from the road trip, and Gobert was out tonight. Okay. So you're saying, okay, we're going to take advantage of Gobert being out, and we're going to shoot 52%. Like if I had told you that, and then I said, by the way, you're going to put up not only you shoot 52%, it's going to be like a real 52%. You're going to score 126 points. You're like, well, we're breaking our losing streak. The Bulls gave up 150. Oh, by the way, Naz Reid, who was their starter at center, he got hurt like in the second quarter of this game and didn't come back. So the Timberwolves shot 66% in this game. They were at 70% through 3 quarters. Ant Edwards had a killer. I think he had 20 in the third quarter in this game at 37. Russell had one of the best games, if not the best game of the season. He was plus 33. And the Bulls get absolutely blasted. They are on a start of a 4-game road trip after getting swept in a homestand, a 2-game homestand against the Knicks a couple days before that. And I have to tell you that the Chicago Bulls are now 11-18. And let me see, are they in 10th place, or have they fallen out of the whole play-in line? If they're not,
they are 11th.
Okay, they've fallen to 11th. They've lost 4 in a row, 7 of 10. And Billy Donovan gave an update that Lonzo Ball is still not able to run without pain. And I mean, at this point, I don't know. I know there's no timetable, but I can't see how you can realistically expect him to come back this season. Pelton, what should the Bulls be thinking about right now? Like if you were brought in to consult their front office, what would your advice to them be about how to go forward at this point?
My advice would be to not worry about the fact that your pick that they sent to Orlando to complete the Nikola Vucevic trade is top 4 protected this year, because you got to try to get value for the players you have on your roster. Well, you can. I mean, Vucevic, who knows what his value is at this point, but Demar Derozan suddenly, is a year away from his extension eligible in the off season. You have to start thinking, I think, about his future already.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports. Is about that time. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls are in a downward spiral, and they are not looking back because it's just the way that they're constructed. It doesn't make any sense. And last year was a pretty good year for them. This year, not so much. Lonzo Ball, second surgery on his knee. He is nowhere near returning. He's still in pain. Billy Donovan signed a contract extension. He will not be fired. So why am I bringing this up? All right. Okay, I was on Twitter, and I got a message. I think it was John Hollinger. He basically said that with the Bulls, they're trying to do whatever it takes, and they've had sit-down one-on-one meetings with Demar and Zach Lavine. So that kind of struck me odd for a second because, why just those two guys? Why not everybody else, right? If you want to do an entire team rating, you got to have a sit down with the entire team. But that kind of struck me odd for a second. And then half an hour later, Shams Charania tweeted out saying, Zach Lavine and the Chicago Bulls are not seeing eye to eye. Now that is quite something, because you just had a meeting with Zach Lavine and Demar Derozan, and now you're having discussions whether Zach Lavine and the Bulls see eye to eye. Can the Bulls pull off a rebuilding tool? Will they trade Zach Lavine? I think personally they should, because they're not doing anything special. They owe their first round pick to the Orlando Magic via the Vucevic trade, and you don't have that pick anymore, so you might as well consider salvaging the season by getting something in return for your stars. It's not working in Chicago. I predict that Zach Lavine is going to be either a New York Knick or a Los Angeles Laker. So turns out that the trade deadline is February 9th, I believe, and they got a lot of time. But it's either that, you trade DeMar, or you trade Zach Lavine, or you trade them both, right? Because the Wemby Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes are phenomenal. Sorry if I butchered that name. Are pretty good this year, and as it stands right now, Chicago would get the 7th pick. They have a 30% chance of getting the number 1 pick, but that pick is only top 4 protected. So if they fall under in the top 4, that's pretty awesome for them, right? But you kind of want to salvage the season and get something in return, because this whole Zach Lavine and Demar Derozan thing is not working. So that's just my opinion. I think Zach Lavine is on the outs. He will get traded. Tell me what you guys' thoughts are. Where is Zach Lavine going to get traded? And they do not see eye to eye, so history shows us that Chicago Bulls might just pull off a trade. This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.